and gentlemen, we have reached the end of day one of the WTC. Welcome back. I am here with you, giving you your full recap for this Olympic. Not the O word. The World Team Championship in Dusseldorf, Germany for War Machine has concluded its first day of competition, and it's the end of the competition. We have uh, Muscles from Brussels as our first undefeated team, sporting the best tiebreaks, and is in the pole position. Followed shortly by Norway Munin, also 3-0 as a team, 12-3 as an individual score record. Individual score record for Muscles from Brussels is 13-2. Muscles from Brussels has been body slamming everyone. The Van Dam is strong with this group. The Australians proving yet again Chris Davies, the active player, not active on this team, staying home, and his locals and countrymen are 3-0 with an 11-4 individual record, rounding out the top four and the last of the undefeateds. The underdog of underdogs this year, although they shouldn't have been. The team with a composition that I said was going to be very, very dangerous, and that has proven out so. The all new, but yet mostly veteran, at least from a standpoint, Team Irving from USA, sporting again Signar, Shadow Flame Shard, Dusk, Orgoth, and Wintercore with an 11-4 record as well, 3-0 as a team. That's right, your top four, your undefeateds are again Muscles from Brussels, Norway Munin, Australia Thorny Devils, and Team Irving USA. So this has been an absolute whirlwind of a first day. It started hot and heavy for the early favorite, Sweden Asgard. They had a monumental task in round one, getting paired up with English Lions. And that was a back and forth of epic proportions, ending 3-2 in Asgard's favor. And unfortunately for England Lions, they ran into Asgard early as opposed to Asgard late. The Australian Thorny Devils also had a bit of trouble at the start of the match into Canada Goose, going 4-1 into Canada Goose, taking them down, pulling the feathers off of the Canadian Geese. Hard way to go in the first round when you have to take on a favorite early. And unfortunately for Australia, unfortunately for Canada, Australia was just a little bit better on the early round in round one. England's Dragons in round one, undefeated, 5-0, beating the Masters of Pizza, showing Italy who is boss. Team Crichton USA in round one took down Spain in a 3-2 back and forth. Norway Hugen went 4-1 against Ike Torso in round one. That's IKI for those. Irving had an early bout with Germany Fuchs and went 3-2 in that match to advance. Germany Eichhornchen and Team Herbert faced off and was a 3-2 to Germany taking down the Americans in that match. The Netherlands Van Gogh took on Muscles with Muscles and beat them 3-2 in round one. Team Poland came out hot and heavy early with a 3-2 win over Germany Reichelhand. Again, a team whose composition I really liked. Both of these teams' compositions I really liked. Team Poland showing that double Orgoth is a fairly viable strategy, at least through the first round of the event. English Knights took down Aiku Torso in 3-2. Norway Munin taking down South Africa 3-2. Sweden Valhall into Portugal Prime, beating Portugal Prime 3-2. Muscles from Brussels, body slamming, unfortunately, France Caesar, 4-1. In what could be considered the most unfriendly of starts. The Italian job, taking down the Little Mermaids, 3-2. So early Italian on Italian crime. There, somebody get Artie Continelli. Let him know. And then Sweden Utgard with a 4-1 bashing of Canada Moose. So Canada goes 0-2 in the first round. Not a great start for their tournament, but we shall see as things progress. And then Australia Spangled Drago taking down France Redbeard 4-1 as well. That is in round one. Moving on to round two. This is where things get real spicy. The Americans were on stream. You can watch those recorded games on the YouTube. Very much worth the watch. Team Irving into Norway Hugen, taking down Norway Hugen 4-1. The clock was not Norway's friend in these. Having watched each of the matches, a couple of these matches were very much decided by the clock and sort of end game management. There's some plays that Norway's going to want to take back, and the Americans got away uh, with a few there in terms of just the opponent having the heat of the moment overtake you. We've all been there, but it was a good fought match between Norway and Team Irving, and a couple plays here or there on either side, and it's a much tighter race than it seems. Again, the clock, not Norway's friend. English Dragons taking down the Italian job 4-1. Australian Thorny Devils in round two taking down Germany Icon each Punchen 4-1. The Australian Thorny Devil team again flexing its muscle in this match. Poland again flexing its muscle as well in the second round, winning 3-2 over Sweden Utgard. Sweden Asgard flexing its muscle, going up 4-1 over Australian Spangled Drago in round two. Muscles from Brussels continues its dominance and continues beating English teams, beating England Knights 5-0. A 5-0 always stings. Muscles from Brussels, just an incredible composition with the double dusk, showing everybody how to do it. Thus far in the competition, they are a tough nut to crack, as relevant to their name. Team Crichton of the Americans took down Netherlands Van Gogh 3-2 in the second round, advancing to 2-0 in round two. Norway Munin with a 5-0 stomping of Sweden Valhall. Canada Goose coming back strong, going 5-0 against the Little Mermaids, taking them back to the sea. Somebody get Artie some poutine as Little Mermaids go down 5-0 in this one. Germany Fuchs bounces back as well with a 4-1 beating of Aiku Torso. Spain Rogue showing its muscle, going up 3-2 over Ike Torso. Germany Rackelhan also exerting its force over the American team, Team Herbert, 4-1. The South Africans saving some face with a 4-1 beating of Muscles with Muscles. And France Caesar also flexing its muscle into Canada Moose, going up 4-1 in the second round. English Lions also coming up off the mats, beating the Masters of Pizza 5-0. And Portugal Prime also coming off the mats with a 4-1 win of France Redbeard in round two. In round three, we got to see some exciting action on stream between German Fox and English Knights. Some great games to check out from on the record, courtesy of Andres. So definitely check that out. The rig they have is utterly amazing. You get to see it on stream. The most professional rig I've ever seen for streaming any type of event, but especially War Machine. It's absolutely precise and perfect, and everything you would want. In round three, Germany Eichhornchen takes on France Caesar and beats them 5-0. Team Herbert of the Americans finally wakes up after going 0-2, and in the third round wins 4-1 against Aiku Torso. Team Irving continuing its 3-0 run by beating Dragons 4-1. taking down English Dragons to secure their spot in the Final Four. South Africa taking down Spain Rogue 3-2 in a hard-fought match. The Little Mermaids coming off the mat over the Masters of Pizza. The Masters of Pizza proving to be Masters of Pizza, maybe not Masters of War Machine. But good to see the Little Mermaids making some waves in the third round. France Redbeard taking down Muscles with Muscles 3-2, proving that the Black Fleet is capable of doing something this tournament. The Thorny Devils escaping against Sweden Asgard 3-2. That's right, gentlemen. There will be a new king, as we've already talked about. Australian Thorny Devils dethroning Sweden Asgard 3-2 in the third round. Ike Torso beating Canada Moose 3-2 in a hard-fought game. Australian Spangled Dragos come up off the mat and go 3-2 into Portugal Prime, resetting their day and going to 2-1. Sweden Utgard also off the mat against Germany Reichelhahn, going up 3-2 in round 3 for a 2-1 record. Muscles from Brussels powers into the final with a 4-1 beating of the American team Crichton. In what was a back and forth contest, Chuck Elswick, which is one of my locals, was the only win for the American team there. So congrats to him, and hard fought by the Americans to get to 2-1 today, starting 2-0 for Team Crichton. Team Irving America obviously is in undefeated in at the end of this day, but do want to give a shout out to Team Crichton, who if they hadn't run into Muscles from Brussels, may well be alongside their countrymen at 3-0, but instead are at 2-1. Canada Goose coming off the mat, continuing its ascension with a 5-0 win over Sweden Valhall, getting us to the Italian job, doing a number on Norway Hugen, beating them 3-2. English Lions continuing to fight and claw its way back into this to potentially place an outside chance of podium with a 3-2 win over Norway Van Gogh. And Norway Munin continuing its assault on this tournament, going 4-1 into Team Poland. Poland standing at the end of the day at 2-1. And Germany Folks, the one you can see on stream, goes 4-1 into England Knights. So that rounds out the end of competition for today. They'll be back tomorrow with the remaining rounds. A couple of statistics to go over. Australia Thorny Devils, absolutely brutal this tournament in terms of just beating everyone they're coming into contact with. Same thing with Muscles from Brussels. Absolutely outstanding 3-0 on the day. In terms of our top 8, as we stand at the end of the day, we have Australia Thorny Devils in pole position. We have Norway Munin. We have Team Irving. We have Muscles from Brussels in 4th. We have Sweden Asgard standing outside the doorway at spot 5. We have Team Poland in spot 6. Canada Goose has flown all the way to 7th position, and England Dragons in 8th position. So really still multiple countries games, multiple countries spot to place. The home country having 2 teams, Germany at 2-1, sitting just outside the top 8. They're sitting at 9th position. 10th position is Team Crichton USA. 11th position is Germany Folks. 12th position South Africa, Tokolshi, and 13th position Australian Spangled Drago. Then the Italian job in 14th place, 15th place England Lions, and Sweden Utgard in 16th place to round out our 2-1s. So some really great games across the spectrum today. Looking forward to even more competition tomorrow as things heat back up. But let's get into some of the stats because that's what this cast is known for. So we had 81 games played by Dusk, 51 games played by Orgoth, 51 games played by Winter Core, 45 games played by Brine Bloods, 39 games played by Shadowflame Shard, 27 games played by Signar and Signar Storm Legion, and 27 games played by Infernals, 24 games for Dark Host, 21 games for Grimkin, 18 obviously for Exalted, and 18 for Dark Operations. So let's get into what that looks like from an actual stats perspective. So if we ignore the first three undefeateds at 100% win rate with only 3 games played, and we'll do an honorable mention to Shadows of the Retribution with 2 players playing them, so 6 games played, 5 up, 1 down, 83% win rate for them in this competition. So maybe Shadows of the Retribution needs a few more nerfs. That's a joke. Grimkin, though, with 21 games played, 17 up, 4 down, 81%, is your top statistically significant win rate of the tournament, although not hyper significant. It is down a little bit from last year, but Grimkin is still incredibly powerful in this meta. The darling of the tournament, Temple Guardians, 6 games, so 2 people playing them, 4-2 of this tournament, 67% win rate. So they are getting the matchups that they were designed to play into, and they're playing into them well. And I think everybody forgot about Dre, mainly known as Temple Guard. The highest performing by win percentage army of the new guys is the Sea Raiders. I don't think this should come as a shock to anyone that has paid attention. Orgoth are very good. I think we've proved that last year. I don't think it was a fluke. Continuing to see that again this year with a 63% win rate. Again, not all games recorded with who the caster was, so tisk, tisk, tisk. But in the ones that we do have, 28 of those games of the 51, 28 of those games, 22 of those are, or 20 in those 51 of those games, 28 of them are recorded as Harusk as the leader. So going 22-6 over the first 3 rounds of the tournament for a 79% win percentage. So not insignificant at all. On the Grimkin side, we do have a 91% win rate for Old Witch. She was the most drop caster, recorded at 11 times. She was 10-1 in those games, where she was recorded as a point. Exalted going with 18 games, 10-8, 56% win rate, good enough for 8th overall. Our big winners here is Zakar 3-2, 5 games played, 60% win rate, 50% win rate for Zal, who is the most dropped with 10, and 2 for Mordekar. We only have 1 game that was unassigned there. So good job scoring. You're able to select your caster pretty easily. On to House Callus, our number 9th performing one, and a fairly surprising but unsurprising just based on the number of players. Overall percentage of 52%, 42 up, 39 down of the 81 games. Seraphel has performed exceedingly well. 36 games, 21 up, 15 down for a 58% win rate. Moraine, the big surprise this tournament, going 3-10, 23% win rate on 13 games played. Much worse performing than those that took Tyrus or Helith. Tyrus and Helith both had 10 games and both went 7-3 respectively for a 70% win rate in this tournament. Hazaroth with 1 game and he lost. So he tried. He's trying, folks. Shadowflame Shard coming in 10th with a 51% win rate, 39 games played, 20 up, 19 down. Kyrax being the highest win percentage, 9 games played, 7 up, 2 down. Rask with 6 games, 3 games up, 3 games down. Shyrus with the most games played from a recorded standpoint. Again, not all games accounted for. Going 17 games recorded, 8-9 for 47% win rate for her. So a bit up and down there. We get a little bit of a clumping on the records for Callus and Shadowflame. Ravens of War, Rulic Guard, and Armored Core, each with 6 games played, each with 50% win rates for the 11th, 12th, and 13th spot. Winter Core with 51 games played, 25 up, 26 down, 49% win rate. going to Kador with 29 games being played by Baranova. Baranova going 48% win rate on a 14-15 record. Socorro with a 1-1, 50% win rate, and Savrin with the best win rate, 55% on 11 games, 6-5 in that recording. Good enough for 15th is Brine Bloods, 45 games played, 22 up, 23 down. Shadow Tongue being the big winner in percentage, although each of the casters that were recorded as having 11 games, or minimum 11 games. Ragemonger with one more at 12. Shadow Tongue, again, 64%, 7 up, 4 down. Thorga, 11 up, 11 games played, 5 up, 6 down for a 45% win rate. And Ragemonger, 12 games played, 4 up, 8 down, 33%. Turns out people know how to play into the Rager. And he is accounting for a pretty steep decline in the win rate for the faction overall. So I think you'll see this rise as we get into the post WTC realm, and you may see a bounce back tomorrow as people sort of adjust to what they're seeing on the field. Infernals coming in 16th overall win rate, 27 games played, 13 up, 14 down, 48% win percentage. We have Agathon on one game with 100% win rate, so not statistically significant. Zadaroff, the primary drop, 13 games, 5 up, 8 down, 38% win rate. Omadamos, 5 games played, 1 up, 4 down, 20% win rate. Coming around the bend, number 17, we have Dark Host. Dark Host, we have a 46% win rate overall, 11 up, 13 down. Scavarus with 9 drops, 4 games up, 5 games down, 44% win rate. Denegra with 10 games recorded, 4 up, 6 down, 40% win rate. Gorshade with 1 game played and 1 loss. Then we run into Crucible Guard with a 44% win rate, 9 games played, 4 up, 5 down, 44%. Bennett went 2-1. Gearhart went 2-3, and Locke went 1-0, or went 0-1. We have First Army and Storm of the North, each with 33% win rate. For Storm of the North, Borka was the most dropped with 3 games played and recorded, 1 win, 2 losses. Colgrima with 1 game played and 1 win at 100% win rate. Blindwater Congregation is the 21st spot, and they had a 33% win rate. Then we get to the 27 games for Storm Legion. 22nd place win rate, 30% overall win rate, 8-19. Most played and recorded was Sparkhammer, 12 games played, 4 wins, 8 losses, 33% win rate. Wolf with 7 games played, 2 games won, 5 losses, 29% win rate. Calder, 6 games played, 0-6. She tried. The big shocker for me, Dark Operations, a list that I've liked a lot, is just proving not to be relevant in this meta. 18 games played, 4 up, 14 down, 22% win rate. Siphon was the most dropped caster with 6. 2 games won, 4 games down for 3% win rate. Asphyxia's 5 games played, 1 up, 4 down, 20% win rate. Same with Texas, 5 games played, 1 up, 4 down. Black Fleet has exactly 1 win this tournament, for 24th overall and 17th. 17% win rate. Devourer's Host is 0 for the tournament. 6 games played, 6 dropped. Wormwood is 3 of those games and is 0-3. The other player is not recorded. United Creoles are also 0-6 this tournament, with Madrek being 0-4. The other 2 casters unaccounted for. Some other fun bits. Over the 238 games of this tournament so far, the first player has won 49% of the time, the second player 51% of the time. Scenario is by far the most common way to win, with 131 successful wins via scenario, 67 wins via caster kill, and 40 via death clock. The 3 scenarios today were Invasion, Payload, and Recon Mark IV, Payload being our first game recorded, followed by Recon in round 2, and round 3 was Invasion. So very interesting as we dive into the numbers, as we sort of talked about. We see a couple of trends emerging that I do want to talk about. We see that Sea Raiders are very much able to handle Orgoth. Or sorry, Orgoth are very much able to handle Khador. They have had 5 games into Khador. They have an 80% win rate in those matches. Very unsurprising as an Orgoth player that has dabbled in Khador. Those two do not match up exceedingly well in terms of for the Khador player, but for Orgoth, we lick our lips a little bit. One of the matchups that has improved significantly for Orgoth over this year has been Infernals. 6 games played into Infernals, 67% win rate for Orgoth. 3 games into Shadowflame Shard, 67% win rate. 10 games into Dusk, our biggest amount of games to a single opponent type. In those 10 games, we are 6-4, 60% win rate for Orgoth. So the two other most populous items and other most populous new factions this tournament and factions this tournament period, Khador and Dusk, Orgoth has a greater than has a at least a 60% win rate against. If you average the two out, it's like a 70% win rate between the two. So pretty exciting and significant. Additionally, 50-50 obviously into Orgoth, but the Orgoth on Orgoth crime is 8 games. So our second most populous matchup. The third most populous matchup being Khador. Being Infernals followed by Khador with just a game separating those two through 3 rounds. Again, Harusk, 79% win rate on his own, 63% win rate for the faction. 67% win rate when Orgoth goes first, 59% win rate when they go second. 67% win rate for Sabrith as well through 9 games recorded. Oriax being a little bit of a disappointment this tournament. 7 games played. He's won 2 of them with a 29% win rate. So very, very, very interesting. More interesting to me is the general win rate for Orgoth in the different types. Uh, 7 games have been caster kills, 13 games have been death clock, 28 games have been wins via scenario for Orgoth in terms of deciding of the games that have been played. So just wanted to drop a little bit of knowledge on y'all. Looking forward to the games tomorrow, rounding out the event and seeing who is crowned the winner. Again, huge congratulations the first day to Australian Thorny Devils, Norway Munin, Team USA Irving, and Muscles from Brussels, each going 3-0, locking themselves in to be able to battle for the championship here as everyone continues to try and podium at this event. But really excited for the showing that Team USA Irving has had, as well as the Thorny Devils. Muscles from Brussels should be exceedingly happy with their presentation. I know they've been working very, very hard to achieve it. Their composition, the Double Dusk, is very difficult to overcome, especially paired with the Dark Host, the Brine Bloods, and the Orgoth. And Norway Munin, showing that old dogs can learn new tricks, featuring the Temple Guard and Shadows of Retribution, paired up with Dusk, Shadowflame Shard, and Winter Core. And the Australian Thorny Devils, again, with just a pure beating list of Dusk, Orgoth, Exalted, Winter Core, and Infernals. So this is a really great showing at the top end of this meta at WTC. I look forward to the games tomorrow. I hope my countrymen do exceedingly well. Wishing them all the best of luck and good, clean play the rest of the way for the remaining of the tournament for everyone. Love the competition, love the spirit so far shown, loving the streams. Thank you so much, Andreas, for doing that for the WTC. For those that can't be there, it just makes it so much more enjoyable than just watching and reading the Longshanks spreadsheet. and it's been fantastic presentation. So I will be back tomorrow with another recap video, uh, and I look forward to it. Thank you all, and good luck, Team USA.